Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Joel Wiesner, for this episode of What's Up Weekly. Each week we talk about the people, places, things, and events that make Ocala, and especially Central Florida, such a great place to be. Before we get started, I want to give a quick update on Wild Waters and the future of what DEP is planning over there. They have marked the date of June 6th as the proposed opening date for whichever concessionaire they choose to operate that park. Arden can actually not join us right now because she's busily working away on the proposal for Silver Springs Management to get their foot in the door over there and hopefully operate that for the next few years here. Real quick, Nick, I know you turned your focus to Tallahassee this week for the Florida legislative session update. You want to give us a breakdown and a rundown on some of that stuff?
Sure, Joel. I'm Nick Robinson. I'm a commercial real estate advisor with Coldwell Banker Commercial here in Ocala, and I'm your host for the business and political session. Yes, I was. We're going to do a recap of the 2014 session. Both House and Senate were up in Tallahassee, as they do every single year during this time of the year. And they went over a ton of bills, passed a bunch of different bills, everything from the budget, of course, which is always their important thing, to e-cigarettes, to Common Core. So we'll talk a little bit about it.
And I heard they actually balanced the budget this year, right?
Yes, they did.
Cool.
They did balance the budget.
When is the Florida legislative session? Is it this past week, or did it just end? Or
actually, the session begins basically the first Tuesday after the first Monday, believe it or not, in March, and goes for 60 consecutive days.
Wow, wow. So
Yep.
and they decide everything from tax bills and new laws and vote on laws?
Very busy. Both House and Senate are very busy during that time. Again, they pass a budget every year. This time it's a balanced budget that was passed like they have done in the past. It had $500 million in tax and fee decreases or tax cuts, as you'll hear them said. They passed, again, an e-cigarette bill, which essentially bans the sale of these e-cigarettes to minors. Believe it or not, that was not something that had already been banned. A lot of people don't realize that in some cases there is a small amount of nicotine in these e-cigarettes, and so and so they passed a bill that makes it illegal to sell those to minors under the age of 18. That bill spells out what the penalties would be for operators who do sell those e-cigarettes to minors as well.
And exactly how large is Florida's operating budget?
So Florida's annual budget this year is just a bit over $77 billion. In that, again, goes over everything and all different facets of the government. But they also were able to reserve about $3.1 billion. That'll be reserved for Florida's future. Wow. Again, in that we have tax cuts, we have expenditures for Medicare and Medicaid, we have expenditures for all kinds of different things throughout that budget.
You mentioned the Common Core. I know that's a hot topic in the school system right now. So who does the legislative believe is best suited to determine how the students succeed in school?
Sure. Well, the House and Senate actually unanimously passed a bill in this session that basically strikes out the language in the Florida statutes that refers to Common Core. So if the government stance, the state government stance on this is that they believe that the state school board or the school board association of the state should actually handle in kind of creating and helping the curriculum. They seem to know the students the best instead of Common Core, which is a federal sort of standardized curriculum-based program.
So it kind of puts a little bit more control in each state then, as far as what's going on with FCAT and the standardized testing.
Exactly,
cool.
exactly,
Cool.
And that's been the state of Florida and the legislature's push this year.
Yeah. So with the GI Bill, how does that affect tuition rates for out-of-state students that come to different colleges here? I'm sure it affects Central Florida College, which is our local college here in Ocala.
Sure. So the new GI Bill that was passed basically makes Florida the best state, or the sort of the ideal state for veterans. And what that basically boils down to is they've created a couple different programs, but one of which is where if you're an out-of-state veteran or someone who's currently serving and who's been honorably discharged or will be honorably discharged, they will pay the same fees for in-state tuition students, as opposed to the way that it was prior to, where if you lived in Virginia, for instance, and wanted to go to one of our state colleges here, you had to pay out-of-state tuition fees. So there's a program they created which actually waives that that fee, and you pay the same rate as in-state fees.
Is that something new? Do a lot of other states do that, or you're not sure at this point? I wonder if that's something new.
You know, I think that Florida is one of the few states who have done that, if not the only state at this point who's elected to do so.
Cool.
Yeah.
And e-cigarettes, you talked a little bit about that.
Right.
There's nicotine in e-cigarettes?
Yes, there is. In some cases, a lot of people don't realize that. You know, they're sort of advertised as this alternative to cigarettes, and while they are an alternative to cigarettes, they still do, in most cases, have a small amount of nicotine. And that was the reason why Congress passed a bill this year in this Senate session and House session that basically made it illegal to sell those to minors. Because prior to, there was no actual law that stated that if you were 16 or 17 years old and you wanted to go and you wanted to buy one of these things, you could essentially buy them. Now, you had to buy them, I believe, without the nicotine in them.
Okay.
But they are easy to get online, and so this bill makes it a little bit more difficult. It's essentially acts as the same sort of ban where we currently have today, where a minor cannot buy tobacco in any form that it is.
And they shouldn't be able to, you know? I mean, that's a gateway to
Absolutely. I mean, you know, what you do after you're 18 is your choice, but I believe that, you know, and I think the state's standpoint on this is that while you're a minor, you shouldn't be exposed to these things, and they're doing their part to try to make it a little bit more difficult to be exposed to.
Certainly not. Well, Nick, I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure we all learned a little bit there. Real quick, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll hear from Katrina Gansler, the Director of Business Development at United Way of Marion County. Stay tuned.
This is Katrina, your nonprofit news host and the Director of Business Development at United Way of Marion County. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Day of Action, something I'm passionate about, and I wouldn't be sitting in this chair if it weren't for it.
What is Day of Action? I know it's something that United Way puts on, but can you give us a little bit of what it's about? Yeah,
so in 2008 we started Day of Action, and not United Way of Marion County, but United Way worldwide. And it's essentially a movement, a way to mobilize volunteers all across the world. We have 1,800 participating United Ways, and millions and millions and millions of people get together and do various projects.
Wow. Is there a reason why it is on June 21st?
Yes, Day of Action is on June 21st, and for the reason that it is because it is the summer solstice. It is the longest day of the year, or the day that has the most sunlight. So we think, what a better day to go out and do some volunteer projects, whatever you want it to be, and you know, change the course of the future, because you can't really do that unless you invest and you care and you go out and do projects that mean something to you.
Yeah. And what kind of projects are taking place?
I mean, you name it, it's happened. Actually, I interned at the United Way in Orlando, and my whole job was Day of Action, and we had to do 5 extreme house makeovers for an area. It was called Pine Hills in Orlando, and I had to, you know, interview the people that had the homes, find out if they're eligible for it, and it was people who have adopted their whole life. One lady, she couldn't move, and her house had cigarette stains all over it, and it was just amazing to go out there and have power of numbers. We had 1,200 people or so, and in one day we were able to fix 5 houses. Wow. So
what a blessing for the community. That's cool.
Exactly.
What is United Way? What is United Way doing here in Marion County for Day of Action this year?
This year we are actually doing the same thing we did last year because it was so beneficial and so moving. It's a community-wide baby shower.
Oh wow!
So we are collecting diapers, wipes, onesies, you name it. We're collecting it, and it's really fun and exciting to get people aboard. Last year we got 1,100 items. We were able to stuff 300 bags.
Wow.
Yeah. So. And the great thing, it wasn't just giving these mom bags. We actually had an actual baby shower for them. Oh, wow. So we were able to talk to them about resources. You know, some of these women, they're alone, and a lot of them were women who were in domestic violence situations. One girl, she was actually blind, and her father was taking her to the baby shower, and he started tearing up in our lobby in our boardroom, and he was looking at our board of directors for every year, starting with Bonnie Heath down to our current one, and he asked if I knew a certain board member, and he started crying. He said that way back in, I guess, 1968, his house burned down, and that guy mobilized volunteers to build his house again.
Oh,
so for that to happen, and then for him to bring his daughter to receive baby items, it's a full circle, and it shows what we do together as a community.
So how could we, you know, if I wanted to get involved in that type of project, how do we get involved? How do the people out listening get involved?
So there's two different ways to get involved. The first way is to host a baby shower. Get some friends together, and, you know, any excuse to have a little party, and ask everybody to bring some diapers or wipes or onesies. You know, that's a great way, and that's running till June 13th. So if companies are getting behind, we have Taylor College doing one. We have Hospice of Marion County, Early Learning Coalition, the Melting Pot, they are big with that as well. So you could do a drive, and then also if you want to actually get your hands in it, you could help us sort all these items on June 20th,
June
Friday.
20th?
Yes,
okay.
At United Way, and it's 9 to 11 a.m.
So basically people can donate items, and then you're going to give some of those items to mothers who are in need for it, and host community baby showers throughout the area for those mothers.
Yes, well, for that day, yep, absolutely. And, you know, Day of Action, we start just, you know, we want it to be June 21st, the longest day of the year. But this is just a first step. We want to, you know, inspire people to keep doing volunteer events like this to really connect us together.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a great time, and hopefully some of our viewers out there will be able to give United Way a phone call and maybe help volunteer.
Bring the diapers.
Well, you guys heard it. Be sure to connect with United Way and Katrina Gansler there. They're looking for anything that single mothers or mothers with kids could benefit from. You know, diapers, onesies, that type of thing. Real quick, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll hear from Julie Annette, the president and founder of Horse and Pet Inc. Stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Julie Annette, your host of Horse and Pet News. I am very excited to take you on my very first location. We got to visit Caroline Ryder of Ryder Horsemanship. In just a moment, you're going to watch a short video, and then we can ask some questions. Here we go. Hello, I'm Julie Annette with Horse and Pet News. Today we're on location with Caroline Ryder of Ryder Horsemanship. Hi Caroline, it's great to see you again.
It's great to see you. Thank you for coming.
Well, we're visiting a lot of the horse farms to educate our viewers about what makes some of the horse farms in Ocala so unique. I was here at your open house, and I was just intrigued by the work you do here. Could you explain a little bit to our viewers about what you do?
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I am about performance, and I'm also about rehabilitation and restoration here. And the most important thing for me when I'm working with a horse is I want to have a relationship with that horse. I want to bring the relationship into the work, and that's what my claim to fame is, basically. So I'm going to talk to Sundance intentionally and energetically, and if the camera can zoom in, she was sleeping, as you can see. So how did I talk to my horse? If your horse is that tuned into you and wants you that much, it's no different than them talking to each other. This is the language of Equus. A horse has the same chakra points that a human does. And our body's made up of hundreds of chakra. And chakra is a Sanskrit word meaning wheel or vortex of energy. And it dates back thousands of years. So a lot of this work obviously must come from within us. So I work with the person, the rider, or the handler as much as I work with the horse. And my job when you come here to work with me in this method, this approach of mine, is to bring the two of you together to create this oneness. So this is Cloud, and Cloud came to me. I did not call her. You don't make this happen. It's her choice to come because she wants to show up. She wants to be as present as you are. And
Which
that's
is
part
something
of
she did not
No,
do
she
at the
would
open
hide
house.
in the corner of the stall, typical trauma, hide. She didn't know how to take a treat. You know, for horses to be able to take a treat, they learn from each other. And some horses, like she didn't know, so it's a very intimate spot of the mouth is about intimacy. And they can't see, so that's why they have whiskers. So for her to allow you to touch her muzzle, it was huge trust, huge. So it took her a long time, about 2 months, to be able to take a treat.
Wow.
And it had to happen through the work. So yes, Cloud came bucking and rearing. One of the things I check out immediately with a bucking horse is the physical aspects. You know, how is the horse's conformation? How does a saddle sit? And if the camera can look at Cloud's back, you'll notice how downhill Cloud is. She's very downhill, meaning her hind end is higher than her withers. And her spine, unlike Sundance's spine, which is very concave and flat, her spine is raised. So she's not only downhill, her spine is raised, and then she has kind of a high wither. So a saddle fits on her like this. And so this is what we call bridging. When the spine is raised like this or convex, it hits the tree of the saddle. And because she's downhill, that's double trouble. So there's no way, unless you have a custom saddle, there's really no way a saddle. Now they have wonderful saddles for bridging actually. Julie Goodnight's website promotes them, and I can't remember the name, but I did some research on it. There are some saddles that have a flex tree. It's all about the flex tree.
So it doesn't allow
Yes,
the pinching.
it doesn't allow the pinching, correct, that the spine's going to hit with a traditional wooden tree. So I can only imagine why she was bucking, and she had a cowboy type of person on. I only say that because he was using a Western saddle. It wasn't like she had a dressage, because we'll fit some of the dressage saddles on her that are wide and we'll shim them up, and we have had some success. But we cannot put a Western saddle on her. There is a traditional Western. There is just no way. So she had these bucking issues. She was rearing. Every time she didn't understand something, she would just explode in rear. So my way of working when I see trauma like this is I want to let the horse be a horse and relax for as long as it takes. And it can take months and it can take a year. And how do I know when the horse is ready? Because we handle them every day. And they are handled a certain way, meaning they learn to be led and they learn to respect our space.
Well, we thank you very much for your time. We're hoping to get a little footage of you in the round pen
Yes.
and show some of your work.
I will,
But
yeah.
we really thank you a
Thank
lot for
you.
having us here.
Thank
and
you.
we look forward to hearing more about you and catching up in the future.
Okay,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Julie.
Again, it's Julie Annette signing off at Rider Horsemanship with Caroline Ryder. Have a great day. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Would anybody have any questions?
Sure, Julie. What are chakras?
They're points of energy in both human and animal bodies that create the flow of energy.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
So, okay, humans, I knew humans had it. I heard about that. Animals have chakras. Do animals have 7 chakras as well?
Animals have 8 chakras.
What's the name of the, what is the 8th chakra? What's the
It
name?
would be a brachial chakra or a key chakra. And that is located between the shoulders and below the neck, but above the scapula.
And so humans obviously do not
And
have that.
No, they don't. And it's the soul chakra.
Okay.
Interesting. Well, I learned a lot from that video. I'm sure our viewers did as well. Stay tuned, and when we come back, we'll hear from Dan Zimboski. Dan will show you a little bit about what we've been up to this past weekend and the events that you can go to the following weekend. We'll take a quick break. Here's Dan. What's up, Florida? Join us as we road trip around the Sunshine State to take a look at the events, attractions, and natural wonders that make this state what it is.
Thanks, Joel. I'm Dan Zimboski, and here's what's up in the 352 area code. This last weekend was packed full of fun events. This past Friday, we were out on location at the Porsche dealership of Ocala. The event was not one to be missed. The ladies at Marriott Events planned a great evening for everyone to enjoy with cocktails, music raffles, gifts, and catering by Fresh Green Tomato Catering Company. At the event, Porsche unveiled the new Macon S. With 5 doors and 5 seats, the Macon S is packed with the comfort and practicality that you would expect of an SUV. Porsche of Ocala has been serving the surrounding areas of Ocala, the Villages, and Orlando for many years, and we can't wait to see what they roll out next. We attended the Appleton Museum's studio launch party this past Saturday. The event was held to kick off the beginning of the studio's 2014-2015 schedule. The studio is the Appleton Museum of Art's group of young professionals, artists, and art enthusiasts who have a passion for art, culture, and design. We relaxed on the courtyard lawn, mingled with other young professionals, and listened to live music by the Blue Jays Band. Event attendees also watched in awe as Mel Fiorentino and Jody Scheibel created live art during the launch party. Attendees also had the option of beating the heat and browsing all the museum's galleries during the event. If you didn't get a chance to attend the launch party, you can visit the Appleton Museum website for more information about the studio. Looking for things to do in Marion County this upcoming weekend? Look no further than the calendar section of whatsupocala.com. Here are a couple of highlights from this coming weekend. BG Equestrian Resort invites you to make your way out for their weekend-long Spring Festival. Bring the kids out this Saturday and Sunday to enjoy the petting zoos, bounce houses, face painting, and more. There will also be a classic car show, food vendors, and a miniature zebra. This event is free to attend, and the whole family will love the beautiful BG farm. Also this weekend, on Saturday, is the iMud Run, right next door to the BG Equestrian Resort at the Florida Horse Park. Local citizens will compete in a challenging and fun 5K mud run. With 18-plus obstacles, mud pits, cargo nets, 60-foot rope crossings, cardio stations, and lots of mud, this obstacle course will give any well-seasoned athlete a reason to come out and challenge themselves. The first wave starts at 8 a.m. and the mini mudder run kicks off at noon. It's that time of year again, Memorial Day weekend, which means it's time for the Blue Crab Festival. Taking place May 23rd to May 26th in downtown Palatka, locals and tourists will gather to enjoy bumper cars, fun houses, carnival rides, live music, arts and crafts, commercial display vendors, and much more. The seafood cook-off will begin at 10 a.m. Saturday, May 24th, and a Memorial Day parade will begin at 10 a.m. on May 26th along St. John's Avenue. The parade will feature marching bands, community groups, and various other floats. As always, admission is free with live entertainment throughout the day and night. Also, make sure to mark your calendar for an event we mentioned to you last week, ELO's Masquerade Ball. News just broke that Lady Michaela Demure will be performing for you at the ball. Lady Michaela Demure is a firecracker of a dancer and a fire performer. If that isn't enough encouragement to get out and mingle at this event, I'm not sure what is. We hope you get out and explore your local community and make it out to any one of these events this weekend. For more information on these and many other events, visit whatsupocala.com or download our mobile app, WhatsUp app, available for iPhone and Android users. Be sure to tune in next week and we'll show you all the footage from these events. That's it from me. Back to you, Joel.
Well, thanks, Dan. I'm sure our viewers appreciate some of that information. When we come back next week, we'll have updates on a lot of the topics and hopefully hear from Arden Tillman about the future of Wild Waters. Thanks. Bye.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye.